must have, if we are claiming to be doing things on a technical level, we must have technical tools which are there for everyone to see, and a documentation process. We have to have people being able to converse at all times, all parties. When you get started, you identify the people involved. You make sure that the specific problem or the hazard is identified, and the stakeholders, especially those with the relevant expertise, are identified and their roles are identified. And then you have to put in place risk assessment methodology. You have to estimate the risk, you have to evaluate the risk, you have to analyze the hazard. That has not been shown in this case. You have to have adaptation, risk control, and financing. All this is risk management. And then you have to implement and monitor. And as I said before, the cross-cutting issue here is communication. So at all times, some oversight committee or oversight body should have been interacting with somebody from Big Construction to say, well, look, guy, you are not doing this according to what was set out in the detailed plan before. You do not come abruptly and stop a business and say, well, you can't do anything from today. And we talk about developing a post-colonial modern economy and blah, blah. Give me a chance.
My name is Monty Roberts, and I traverse that part of the country fairly regularly. I have to, for different reasons. There's just a week or so ago, I drove up that area where Bigger had his operation, and I see no environmental problem there. The entire area is in lush vegetation. The only environmental problem I'm seeing there now is a building that used to house the office, because it is badly vandalized. All the windows and doors and what's not are all broken. So if you speak about environmental problem, that might be the only one I see around here now. But Kenton almost answered the question, asked the question that I really want to ask. But I'll still ask it because it's on my mind. Clearly, Bigger not going to get anyway in terms of getting back his license to get his business going again under the present regime. And my question is, what's the next step? Where do you go from there? Because you can clearly see they are pushing it wrong in circles. People who are not responsible for giving the license are getting in the way, and all kind of problem they're going to create for you. My question, as I said, is similar to what Kenton asked. Where do you go from here? What's the next step? Yeah. Thank you.
Let me just make a comment. As you were talking, Kenton asked too that he didn't hear the company. We are all connected to it. You didn't hear the CEO of the company. Yeah? But we're giving clarity to the issues. And let's face it, we have intention. We talk about righting historical wrongs. Are we going to wait until the next generation to right a historical wrong that we have committed in this our generation? I say no. That is what I am optimistic that this issue would be resolved because we are reasonable people and reason has been applied. We said that it is an environmental issue. The environmental people gave the okay. The technical and environmental people gave the okay because they said approval has been issued to you. All that is needed now is that the other non-technical barriers be removed, and I believe they will be removed in this generation.
Good morning. A matter like this frightens me as an manufacturer. It frightens me a lot because I'm a furniture manufacturer. I deal with chemical I deal with dust and all kind of thing, and I don't know when I will offend the environmentalists. I just don't know. But the man in the middle today is Leon Bigger Biggs. He have a very good name, Bigger Biggs. You're real big, my friend. That is why you become a target. I get close to Bigger Biggs when he opened his block making plant in Yambu. He made a statement that I was totally agree with. He said, when you take a chance that nobody else can take, will ever venture to take. And he took that chance. And from that time I hear that statement, I was close to him and I get closer to him. This issue now, to all right-thinking Vincentian, is a frightening one. At the beginning, when they asked him to close down, I was hurt, and I spent 2 consecutive days in Roboca, observing with my limited eyesight. If you want to hear what that means, I am not an environmentalist, I am not an engineer, I am nobody, but I could see. And with my limited eyesight, I searched Roboca. There are other miners in Roboca. There are other people doing work in Roboca. And I took the liberty to examine what was done in Roboca. And to my judgment, if there were any violators in Roboca, Bigger Biggs was the least offender. When I say I don't mean Otieno. I. And seeing is believing, and touching is the naked truth. I went with my eye. You know, something is happening in St. Vincent. We have a lot of mouth. And most of the people who mouthing off is not mouthing off intelligently, because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't go and see anything, but they hear and they start to mouth off. I couldn't do that. I went with my eyes, and I would tell you a little of what I saw, because it is recorded in me, not with a tape recorder. It is recorded in me what I see. And I saw a big company, can't remember the name, but they have a generator. And I saw when they change the oil from the generator, there is an earthen drain, a gutter, running the oil straight in the little water that is there. I wouldn't say the river, you know, because most of the time river is where you see water, and at times you don't see no water up there. That is why they cannot grind consistently, because they depend upon the water to wash this stuff, and sometimes there is no water, and I see oil running in the water. I come back again, I don't know who do it, but I see them burning tires in the vicinity in the river there. And I go by Bigger Biggs, every machine. Some of you garage, have more oil than what I saw on Bigger Big's operation. Because some of us can't drip oil at night. And that is expected. I have seen him with a few drums, and the best of us, when we train out diesel out of drum, we have this big funnel, and still we would see a little spilt on the ground. So I say, if there were any offenders, Bigger Bigs was the least offender. I don't know why all they put me to talk, but I'm going to talk something. There is nothing new under the sun. Absolutely nothing new under the sun. We have a lot of laws that are being made even overnight. But I say any law that is not coincide with the blueprint that God gave us to live by, you got to be careful with that. And when I say nothing new under the sun, I remember Ahab and Jezebel. I remember when the war started, is now about vineyard. They were fighting over. Listen to me, I would talk, because I would back up what I say from the blueprint that is given to us to live by. Ahab wanted Naboth vineyard to make a kitchen garden. I don't want to stop because something tells me I must develop that. And he was a reasonable man. He go to him. I hear me? He was a reasonable man. He go to Naboth and he say, man, this thing is close to me. I wanted to make a kitchen garden. I'm going to either pay you or give you a better vineyard that you can operate. I only want it because it's close to me. I don't know who Bigger Big land is close to. But I could also say who own every square inch of land in St. Vincent. I could say that. That's what they say, so I could say so. Anyhow, it was not really Ahab who engineered this thing. It was his wife Jezebel. So what is really happening at times, the people who really want the thing done, they don't do it with their hand. They get somebody else to do it. But Bigger Bigs, the Lord is on your side, man. The Lord is on your side. The Lord is on your side. Listen to me. I'm glad for the clapping, but I will tell you something. The first time I speak in this hall, you know what they call me? A comedy. Because they say, soon as Oti take up the mic, you know, hey, everybody start to clap and laugh. Well, don't treat me as a comedy today. No, because I am inspired to say what I am saying. Envy is as cruel as the, it's not me saying, Brother Murray say, envy is as cruel as the, good. That's all. I stop.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenton Chance, please. Kenton.
Hi. Well, I see this event is advertised to finish at 11, so I think those who have questions should just forget about it, because I have several I want to ask. Okay, the panel, you've suggested that the technical people that the cabinet acted on faulty information provided by the technical staff. Why do you think, as professionals yourselves in your own field, that the technical staff did something like that? Was it that they heard? Why might such a situation have developed?
You've answered your own question. The technical staff obviously was directed to write what they wrote. Because I've said before, if you go through the points, they were patently false, and I've said so before. Why would the technical staff print something that is false? I mean, any qualified technical mind should have some level of independence of intellect. And no technical person, let's take the simplest case, would say that you have ponding at Rabaka where Bigger was mining, because it's impossible. So why would you put that in? Why would you throw that in? And any technical person who visited the site would have observed over the period of his operation, there was absolutely no mining activity at the banks of the river on either side, whether the Rabaka River or the Lady Jane River. That again was false. Why would you print and advise on something that is false unless you have been directed to do so?
But
Why would you do so?
You said
Now,
they were
I'm not going to answer that
They
question.
were instructed, but instructed by whom? You seem pretty confident
I
that they
don't
were
have to
instructed.
tell you who instructed that. They know who they were instructed by. I don't know who instructed them. You'll have to ask the technical people who instructed them to say that there was ponding in sand and gravel. And you have to ask the technical people who advised them to say that there was mining at the banks of the river.
Okay, my next question. Did the technical people provide photographs to support their findings?
I didn't say the technical people provided photographs. I said we have photographs.
I'm asking.
They have never provided any photographs to show anything. We have photographs to show what was happening there. We have the evidence. No evidence was brought to say that there was contamination sufficient to lead to an environmental hazard. None whatsoever. No evidence, and they're not supposed to bring that. They're supposed to state what the facts are. But I'm telling you, the facts were never stated.
Okay, as Mr. Samuels advises, or members of his team, whichever is appropriate, earlier on in this development, the Prime Minister said that he had advised Mr. Samuel to meet with the technical staff, and Mr. Samuel had not done that for a period of time. Did any of you encourage him? Did you support that decision that he took? What are your views on that?
The first meeting, when the issue started, I'll read to you just slightly. 19th of March 2009. This letter is addressed to the Honorable Julian Francis, Minister of Housing, Informal Human Settlements, Physical Planning, Lands and Surveys, Sharp Street, Kingston. Dear Minister Francis, meeting with Big Trucking and Blocks Construction Company Limited, Friday, 13th of March 2009. Bigger Trucking was pleased to have responded to your invitation for dialogue concerning the company's operations on our property at Rabaka. We wish to thank you and your team of advisors in the persons of Mr. Anthony Bowman, Town Planner, Mr. Telford Stu, Planning Officer 1, for the frank and open discussions. As Director, CEO of the company and the company's advisor, Mr. Fillmore Isaacs, we found the exchange very fruitful. We noted the areas of concern raised by you, namely, 1, the environmental impact of our current operations at Rabaka, and 2, access for persons who own lands to the northwest of our property at Rabaka. We wish to place on record the position of our company on the 2 very important issues. Firstly, Our current mining operations do not violate the conditions under which approval was granted by the Physical Planning and Development Board, and we do not intend to do so. On the contrary, it is the company's plans to exceed expectations in restoring the area by investing substantially in our nation's food security plan. As mentioned at the meeting, the plans will be elaborated and forwarded to the relevant authorities for scrutiny and approval. As regards the second issue, the access road through our property, we voiced our concern for security of the company's equipment and materials should unlimited access be permitted, as is currently the case. At the same time, as a caring business, Bigger Trucking does not wish to deny anyone from enjoying the benefits of their property. Honorable Minister, what needs to be noted is that since the change of ownership of the property, no one, including the government and GESCO, has been paying the access fees that was paid to the previous owner, even though Bigger Trucking has given notices for GESCO to do so. We do not believe that the legal route is the most efficacious way to solve this matter, because repeatedly we've been asked, why doesn't Bigger take it to courts? We stated up front, we do not believe that the legal way is it. We put before you for consideration the company's willingness to be a partner with the government, perhaps some of the adjacent landowners in a self-help project to restore the bridge which formerly provided access to them. Should this suggestion prove to be unsatisfactory, we are open for further dialogue.
May I just...
Signed, yours sincerely, Leon Samuel, Director, CEO, Bigger Trucking.
May I
And
just...
since then, we have had several meetings with officials.
May I just interject here for a moment? This actually introduces another issue which was introduced when Bigger Bigs got the approval in early October 2014, which is the question of keeping a road access through his property, which is not a traditional road access. But to answer your question, one of your earlier questions, the common theme throughout all of the tapes that we have played to you is that while there's a technical staff attached to the Physical Planning and Development Board, the common theme that seems to be playing out here is the question of, the role of the government and the cabinet and cabinet's involvement or involving itself in making decisions on behalf